The life of Rosalynn Carter, First Lady of the United States of America. On November 19, 2023, former First Lady Rosalynn Carter died at the age of 96. She went from poor Southern seamstress who couldn't afford to go to college to one of the most politically active First Ladies in U.S. history. She was an outspoken advocate for women's rights and mental health. After the White House, she and Jimmy helped to forge what sadly turned out to be a temporary peace between Israel and Palestine. They spent their golden years helping others through their foundation and Habitat for Humanity. Let's meet Rosalynn Carter.
Eleanor Rosalynn Smith Carter was born in Plains, Georgia. Her father was an auto mechanic and farmer, her mother a teacher and dressmaker. When she was 13, her father died of leukemia. She helped her mother raise her younger siblings and run her dressmaking business. She was salutatorian of her high school and started at Georgia Southwestern College, but had to drop out when funds ran out. At 18, she met Naval Academy student Jimmy Carter. Rosalynn decided to marry him rather than try and find the money to go back to college. They had 3 sons while moving around with Jimmy's career. He left the Navy to run his family peanut farm, though Rosalynn was against the decision. Jimmy was elected to the Georgia State Senate. They tried to have a 4th child, but Rosalynn was unable to conceive. 12 years later, at the age of 40, she had a large tumor removed from her uterus and then became pregnant with her 4th child, Amy. She was active in his campaign for governor. She toured mental health facilities across the state, and many of her recommendations for improvements became law. She visited 41 states to campaign for Jimmy's run for president. Rosalynn wore the same gown to the presidential inaugural ball that she had worn to the gubernatorial inauguration. Rosalynn was described as a steel magnolia. She sat in cabinet meetings and had influence with Jimmy, who called their marriage an equal partnership. She campaigned for the Equal Rights Amendment. She underwent tours to Latin America and Asia. Rosalynn continued her work to improve mental health care. The Mental Health System Act was passed shortly before Jimmy lost the presidency in 1980. The Carters were in debt after leaving the White House, but writing autobiographies improved their finances. They opened the Carter Center with the goal of advancing human rights around the world.
Rosalynn headed up the Carter Center's Mental Health Task Force. In 1983, the couple traveled to the Middle East and invited representatives from Israel, Palestine, Jordan, Syria, and Egypt to come together for peace negotiations. The deal they forged brought an end to a time of particular violence in the area, which had cost the lives of thousands of civilians. Sadly, the peace the Carters helped to facilitate would prove to be temporary. Into their 90s, the couple continued to be involved in a number of humanitarian causes, including building houses for those in need through Habitat for Humanity and promoting mental health and the welfare of women, children, and caregivers. In May 2023, it was announced that Rosalynn had been diagnosed with dementia. She continued to live at home with Jimmy and enjoy the spring and visits from loved ones. On November 17th, Rosalynn entered hospice care in her home in Plains, Georgia. She died 2 days later of natural causes on November 19th, 2023. She was 96 years old. Her funeral will be held on November 29th, and she will be buried at her residence. Want even more tea on history? Check out the History Tea Time podcast. You can now follow History Tea Time on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, comment your thoughts, and check out my other royal history videos. If you really want to help, please consider supporting me on Patreon. A link is in the description. Thank you for watching.